I pray you're never forced to shoot in self-defense. But if you must, then you must be ready. That's why USCCA exists, because every responsibly armed American should have the training and education to navigate a self-defense situation. And should you ever need it, the 24/7 critical response team is right there for you. To discover more about USCCA, visit uscca.com/GOR. Act now, because the life you save could be your own. That's uscca.com/GOR.
What's up, man?
What's kicking, brother?
I was at the rodeo over the weekend.
Bulls only.
The Bulls only rodeo in Lakeside. Although I only went, I didn't stay Saturday night because I don't know if you were aware, we had a little downpour,
little dribble.
So I was like, I'm calling it. We're standing there in mud. And
Alicia, how are you today?
I'm doing really well.
Very good. Got this style in the glasses, huh?
Trying to be a grown up.
Figure, well, if we're gonna make you read, you might as well be able to read, right?
Giving it a try.
Did you go to Bulls only too?
I did not. No.
she was going to come out and help, but I was like,
Oh, you did a table?
There were a couple. Yeah, we had a whole booth, and I'm like, we're calling it. This thing's dead. It actually wasn't dead. There were a ton of people.
Yes, Friday was good. Saturday was the day I was supposed to go out and help, and it was a little rained out.
But you didn't. Was the stands full?
Well, so it was pouring rain at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, we got to call it. I was there with some volunteers. We're seriously sitting there in like mud,
a puddle.
Yeah, and like I think our little space just wasn't the best. And I was like, you know what? We're passing out paper, and it's pouring rain and mud. I got to call it. You got to think of the volunteers first. So on the way out, there was a line through the parking lot, around the corner, up the hill, down the valley.
Right.
So there's a ton of people.
Okay, so that area is terrible for traffic.
Well, yeah. They were not as discouraged by the rain as I was.
Bulls don't care.
Yeah.
And if you're sitting on top of it or attempting to sit on top of it, maybe falling in the mud would not be a bad thing.
Jackson, you ever ridden a bull?
No, and I have not, and I don't want to.
You don't?
Why not? How about a calf? A little short of the ground.
Maybe a calf, but still, I would probably say no.
No.
Have you ever heard they call them mutton busters? And what you do, now this might work for you.
Yeah.
Because you ride a sheep that's got a whole lot of fur that's real thick, so you can hang on to him. Would you do that?
I'd give it a maybe.
There you go.
Okay.
Have a little mint jelly with it.
Hey, by the way, I heard you talk to Nick Novak, and he's going to come over and help you put the race car together.
Yep.
Are you excited?
Very.
I know. We're going to get that bad boy going. Did you come up with a number?
My lucky number 13.
All right.
Nice.
Your dad, you're not going to use your dad's ship number?
No.
Put it down in the lower corner. If he gives you any money, put it down in the lower corner. That's like advertising, right?
Yeah.
Advertising. Next time you go to war.
Yeah. Next time, exactly. You're going to leave it silver or you're going to change it?
I think we might leave it silver.
Okay. Well, you ought to have by the way, this is your crew behind me.
Your pit crew.
Yeah, pit crew. So you always have to talk to the pit crew and say, all right, what do we want here? What do we want to do with this thing? Maybe you can get
Brad.
Mike to sponsor it. That's San Diego County.
Yeah, we'll put a little sticker on it.
Yeah. Give you a couple grand a month.
How cool? A couple grand a month. Jeez, I almost choked.
Yes, please.
I don't think I've ever been able to get you to choke that quick. All right. So, okay, what do we got on the show?
We got all kinds of cool stuff. We're going to talk about the voter guides. We're going to spend a segment on everybody's voter guide, San Diego's Orange and Inland Empires. So we're going to have Carla from Inland Empire on the show. We're going to have Heather from Orange County on the show. And then I'm going to talk about San Diego's voter guide. And we're going to talk about, highlight some of the folks. We're going to talk about the voter guide in general. What can you do and why as far as supporting pro-Second Amendment candidates, which is that's our whole point. That's what we're trying to do. Right. The other thing is get your tickets for Inland Empire Gun Owners Gun Prom. Go to gunprom.com. It's November. Wait a minute. When is it? Yeah. I don't know. It's November. No, it's November.
November 12th.
12th.
November 12th, yeah.
November 12th, right after the election, so there's going to be a lot of cool things to celebrate. November 12th, but go to gunprom.com. The cool thing is AWR Hawkins is now going to be the keynote speaker at Gunprom and Inland Empire. If you don't know who A.W. Hawkins is, then you have got to get out from underneath the rock, because he is the one of probably the premier Second Amendment author that you're going to find. If you do a search for any story, he will have written an article. He is out front on every battle when it comes to the Second Amendment. He was the keynote speaker a few years ago at the Orange County's Gun Prom, and then we had a panel discussion a few years ago. And I got to tell you, he gave one of the best talks I've ever seen at this panel discussion. He talked about how skewed the media is and why, but he really went into it to depth, and it was fascinating. He's a great speaker. He's a great guy. So excited to have him come out. Rarely do you get to see him talk in California, if at all. So AWR Hawkins is going to be at Gun Prom in Inland Empire. It's at March Air Force Base at the museum. So go to gunprom.com, get tickets. They have all your information. And then, of course, this week is San Diego's monthly meetings. Tuesday is at North County Shooting Center if you're in North County. It's a Discount Gun Mart if you are in like Central or East County. And then Thursday it's down at Labella's Pizza if you're in South County. So come on out. Meet other like-minded people, eat some pizza with us, find out what you can do to support the Second Amendment, join, do all kinds of really important stuff. And then, of course, we're going to interview some folks. San Bernardino County Supervisor candidate Luis Cetina is going to be on the line. We're going to talk to him and see what we can do to support him and talk to him a little bit. And then, of course, we're going to have Sam the Gun Man. We got a really we have a couple of good questions for Sam the Gun Man.
Chances are we're not going to stump him, but it always sounds good.
Yeah.
You can be optimistic.
Yeah.
All right.
It's impossible to stump that little guy.
Yeah, it really is.
That
And by the way,
hats
off to the San Diego County Gun Owners Voter Guide.
Yeah.
And I tell you, folks, there is one other one you can throw next to it.
Yep.
And you'll be able to fill all the boxes, which I was able to do.
Yeah.
Is Carl DeMiles.
Yeah, he does really good. Of course,
his is all up and down the state of California.
Yeah, his is very thorough. If we disagree, though, side with us.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. But I will say, I chuckled because on a couple of them, he says, "You will be destroyed if you vote for this person."
Oh, wow.
So he kind of threw his own little comedy into it as well.
Yeah, we actually, there's very, very little daylight between the endorsements, and we have been working with Reform California, which is Carl's organization,
right,
on where we agree.
I didn't see any deviations between the two.
Big one's the sheriff. The big one's the sheriff.
Oh, I automatically knew who I was going to. I didn't even look on his guide for it.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that when it comes time to the voter guide. But everything else, we pretty much agree. I mean, we're pretty much, and it's not so much that we got together in a smoky room and planned something.
Much as you would like.
It's just that the obvious choices are obvious.
Right.
So there's very little daylight between, which means that we got some good candidates.
And the only thing I can say on the sheriff,
Yeah.
hats off to San Diego County gun owners for vetting somebody more so than a couple other people that you and I have talked about, and which I was surprised that, and I asked him, well, what about this? No, I don't know.
Brother, it's our crowning jewel.
I think it is. Seriously.
We have truly, I mean, I don't, well, we're going to
you're
talk
good.
about it in our
You're a good
segment.
interviewer. All right. Hey, folks, Orange County Gun Owners is dedicated to preserving and restoring Orange County's gun rights. OCGO has developed the infrastructure that focuses on changing the face of gun ownership by getting volunteers involved in local level activisms and reach out. We have made a profound influence and advancement on policies protecting the Second Amendment throughout all of Orange County. And if you live in Orange County and want to help defend and restore the Second Amendment, you need to join ocgunowners.com/join. Volunteer at a shooting social, maybe at a gun shop, a tabletop, and help more pro-gun local officials get elected. Become a member today, ocgunowners.com/join.
ocgunowners.com/join.
Speaking of which,
we have the none other than the executive director of Orange County Gun Owners. She runs the show over there. She's the top dog and head janitor and bottle washer and everything, all the above. Heather Hawk, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you guys? Happy Sunday Gun Day.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for making the time to call in. How is everything in Orange County? How is Orange County gun owners doing?
We're doing good. We survived the thunderstorms last night, which was nice. I missed that from Ohio, so I enjoyed them, but get a little rain's good. Orange County gun owners doing really well. We're growing and growing each month. So, I mean, we're hoping to get up as big as San Diego County gun owners here one day. So, getting out there, getting the word out there about us, and just, getting more members, getting more people involved in the Second Amendment.
Well, you guys are going the right direction. You guys are doing a fantastic job. You had your gun prom back in March, right?
April.
April.
Yep,
April.
Mm-hmm.
Had it in April. I was close. And you guys are growing and doing shooting socials and doing tabletops and doing all kinds of stuff, doing all the right activities, have a great board, have a great executive director. There's no reason to not get involved and be successful. And you've now produced a really fantastic voter guide.
Yes, we have. Yep, we got 36 candidates on there. So
36. I think you guys have the biggest voter out of San Diego, Inland Empire, and Orange. I think you guys have success. I think you guys have the most. I think you guys beat San Diego out. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we were really excited about it. I was excited about the number of questionnaires we got back too with people who were pro Second Amendment. So it's really refreshing to hear. You hear a lot of negativity from California, and it's nice and refreshing to hear candidates that are, they've grown up with firearms. They're very pro Second Amendment, and they'll support our rights.
So what is the environment generally in Orange County when it comes to Second Amendment?
It's a lot of. It's kind of quiet, and there's a lot of people who have firearms. And I mean, I have no idea the exact number, but so many people talk about it, but it's under the rug. Like they're afraid to talk about it out loud is what I've noticed. And once they find someone though that is and then speaks up, like I have a lot of friends that didn't know I was into firearms, and once they find out, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you do? Well, I have this, and I go shooting here." And it's kind of it's like a silent majority that isn't as active as it should be and as outspoken. So like a quiet culture, if that's the best way to say it.
And you're looking to change that quiet part.
Yes, I'm not a quiet person, so. You guys know I like to talk. So.
I do, absolutely. So you guys, tell me a little bit about the process. You sent out. Tell people about the process when you started a few months. I think you started in like July or
Correct, yeah.
for the November election, and talk a little bit about the process. What are the steps you take to whittle it down to 30? I think you said 36.
Yeah, so it starts out, we actually will look and reach out to city clerks, anywhere we can get information on who's running,
Mm-hmm.
And we'll kind of build a list. I had to help one of our board members, Tom Kirk. He was very integral in helping me reach out to as many people as we could. And so we put together a spreadsheet by city. I believe there's 34 cities and municipalities in Orange County, so there's quite a few. And we tried to get everyone's emails, any kind of contact information we could, and we sent out an email to them letting them know that we had a questionnaire for them to fill out. And that's the first step for them to be vetted. We will send that to them. They have to fill it out and return it. So we know that they're serious about being endorsed. The questionnaire has great questions on there specific to the Second Amendment, even, to the points of, CCWs, any kind of laws that might come up that are in place, the assault weapons ban in California, so everything pertaining to that. And they fill that out and return it to us. Then I will reach out to them and have a one-on-one conversation with them, meetings, talk to them more about what some of their answers are. And at that point, some of the answers, a lot of the times we'll get ones where they come back and they like guns, they own guns, and there's all these extra little things. And that's where it starts to creep in, where that person's not completely fully supportive of the Second Amendment. And then you look at, is that really what we want representing, trying to get laws passed and things? Because they can, then maybe they're also maybe not up to speed on what's going on with Second Amendment laws or things that are going on. So they're easily convinced on the other side. They don't get all the facts. So those are things we look at and talk to them.
It is that but really is an opportunity to, either educate, and they kind of go, oh, all right, yeah, I see, and I'm with you philosophically. Now I get the details and I'm with you. Or it's an opportunity to separate the wheat from the chaff. Okay, this person really doesn't agree with us. But yeah, that butt is the, when they show us their big butt, that's when that's when we go, all right, wait a minute, there's a problem there. Could be a problem.
Yeah, so
Kelly's laughing.
We had a lot. Yeah, there was one they had I think all guns should be switched over to smart guns. And I'm like, that's a very big task and not very good because it's not reliable. But there's things like that where, and some people you can talk to them and they understand, and others are like, well, no, this is my feeling on it. And that's your feeling. We try to educate, and that's one of our big proponents is, we've got to educate people on firearms. Don't just listen to the media and what they're showing you.
Right.
That's a lot of people who, there were several candidates I talked to that, I had good conversations. They don't know about firearms and they don't understand, and they are pro Second Amendment. But when it comes to speaking up about it or talking about, they don't have those talking points, or they don't know anything about firearms, which is the same problem with the other side that's more anti-gun. They don't understand. They've never shot a gun half the time, or, they've not been around them. So they don't understand how useful they are. And if you can convince them to even come to the range with you and try something, a lot of them realize they're not as scary as they're portrayed.
So who are you particularly proud of on your list? Who's a standout candidate? Or talk a little bit about some of the individuals on the list.
There's a few. One of the bigger races that we have is for OC Supervisor, Patricia Bates. She's running in District 5 against Katrina Foley, and she's very big. She's a proponent of the Second Amendment. She has been in office for several years. So she's been a supervisor. She's been in the Senate and the Assembly in California. She actually helped, talking to her a little bit, she helped push CCWs in Orange County before we had pro-sheriffs in place, getting more people their CCWs. And I took the opportunity when I was talking to her about her stance and everything with the conversation we had with Sheriff Barnes when he was at one of our meetings, monthly meetings. He was talking about how the supervisors that are currently there, they approved his budget, and they approved everything in his budget last year except adding more people to the CCW team to help get people processed and approved. So I made sure I talked to her about that and mentioned that, and she was gung-ho all for making sure that gets approved, especially with the number of CCW applicants they have now coming through. I love that when I hear people wanting their citizens armed. So
if you want to cut the wait time down, if you want to help cut the wait time down to get CCWs, and then help get Pat Bate elected, is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. Yes.
Good. Good. She was at Gun Prom, and she's definitely voted the right way when she had the opportunity. When it comes to the Second Amendment, so that was an easy and good endorsement. I'm glad she's running. I'm glad that she reached out for an endorsement.
Yeah. Who
else do you like?
Another one, Blair Stewart. It's Rodney Blair. He's in Brea City Council. Brea there's a lot of pro-2A people there, so it's great. And just that city has a good Second Amendment mentality there. He is a firefighter. Very big into shooting, loads his own ammo and everything. He is actually a 10-ring member for Orange County gun owners.
Nice.
So
that's your highest level of membership. For those who don't know, that's the highest level of membership in Orange County, the 10-ring member. So that's cool. Mm-hmm. What about? Do you have any folks that you endorsed who are running for office that were they were active members of Orange County gun owners, and then they decided to run for office?
Amy Van West, she actually she's on our board. However, right now she stepped down just because she's being endorsed.
Right.
But she's an active member. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's Amy running for?
She's running for Westminster City Council, District 1.
Nice.
So she is very pro Second Amendment, strong supporter. She actually was trying to get some of the local people who were running to fill out her questionnaire and everything that she knew were interested in Second Amendment. Some of them didn't get it filled out in time, but
Yeah. And then, of course, Danielle Mills, right? She was very active in Orange County Gun Owners, and she is a first-time candidate. She's running for, is it school board?
Newport Mesa School Board. She's trustee area 2. And I know she's got, her opponent is getting a lot of funding and support from, I believe, like Planned Parenthood and things. So she's, they're very grassroots. They don't have a lot of funding. So she's asking for a lot of support. She's in it for the parents, and, she's great, proponent of the Second Amendment, great sharpshooter too.
She's wonderful. She and her husband both are absolutely wonderful. So to help Orange County get some folks elected, we need you to do a few things. Go to orangecountygunowners.com. Check out the list. Help somebody. Help more than one person who's endorsed. Join Orange County Gun Owners. Go to their meetings. Help them walk neighborhoods and do all the things that we're going to do, that the candidates are going to do, that to get the right people elected. But definitely go to orangecountygunowners.com and become a member today. Thank you so much, Heather.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, hey, Gun Prom is coming up in the Inland Empire. Get your dresses and suits ready. Dust off those dancing shoes and get ready to celebrate and support the Second Amendment. Join us and other Second Amendment supporters on March 12th, 2022 at March Air Museum in Riverside. You can celebrate with delicious food, drinks, and dancing. Don't miss your chance to win some amazing prizes and support the Second Amendment at the same time. Get your tickets now at gunprom.com. Are you going to be there?
I'm definitely going to be there.
Then you'll get to meet the world-famous Michael Schwartz.
Oh, my gosh.
Might even get a picture.
Yeah.
Little autograph, action.
Hug.
Might even take you out on the dance floor. And if that's the case, we are all coming.
You're way off script at this point.
Hey, I see we have a special guest in. Who do we have?
So we're continuing on. We're talking about the voter guides. And so we just, of course, spoke with Heather from Orange County. She's talking about Orange County Gun Owners voter guide. So now we're going to have Carla from Inland Empire, which is, of course, Riverside and San Bernardino, and she's going to talk about their voter guide. How are you, Carla?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Fantastic. So talk a little bit about Inland Empire. Inland Empire is Riverside County and San Bernardino County combined, which is
Correct.
very challenging to have an organization cover two counties, isn't it?
To say the least.
What are some of the challenges? First challenge is you guys have 2 sheriffs.
We do. We have 2 sheriffs. We have just about 2 of everything, if not more than that. But San Bernardino being one of the largest county in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Riverside, which ranks about the 12th or 13th largest in the nation. So between the 2, we have probably close to 10 million people combined.
That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people, yes.
So talk a little bit about, so you guys started your doing your vetting, right around July for the November race?
Yeah, about July. I mean, as soon as the results started coming in and we started getting, finalized people who are going to be on the November ballot.
First off, you guys had you had a ballot for June, and it went really well for you guys, right?
We did. Every one of our members, or every one of our endorsed candidates, made the vote for November.
Congratulations!
So they all advanced forward. Yes.
So that's a good foundation to start building on for November. Talk a little bit about the experience of getting folks, vetting folks, and endorsing them for November.
It was difficult, just because everybody is so focused on trying to get to the November election, and everyone is so busy because there's such a vast area to cover for our candidates. But I was able to pull in more people. On top of that, I actually went to several meet and greets, listened to some of the candidates, and then went up and introduced myself and told them what we did and who we are, and invited them to fill out our questionnaire. And I would say out of the maybe 9 or 10 people I spoke with, 5 of them did, and we endorsed all of them. And even to this day, I still get emails from candidates asking, can we get on your voter guide? Can we, get your endorsement? Unfortunately, we've had to cut it off, and our voter guide was in print already. So I tell them, good luck. Here's our dates. Become a member. That way you don't miss the cutoff dates in the future. And if you're having any kind of events or you want to come out and speak with our members, please let me know. I'm happy to help your campaign in that way.
And okay, so who in particular? Talk about some folks that you're particularly proud of, or that stand out, or that you like.
Our sheriffs are pretty awesome. We're pretty lucky with our sheriffs. Sheriff Bianco and Sheriff Dicus are both outstanding Second Amendment supporters. We're lucky that Sheriff Bianco won his primary, so he won't necessarily be on the November ballot, but we're still endorsing him. And with the new legal law that...
Yep, he's in for 6 years.
He's in for 6 years, yes. The new thing that Gavin Newsom signed, he's in for 6 years, as well as Mike Hestron. Unfortunately, that didn't take place for Shannon Dicus, but we still are pushing everything forward with him, and he's an amazing sheriff. He's really stepped up and helped. He helped his predecessor do the CCWs here in San Bernardino and is following suit since he took over the position when Sheriff McMahon retired.
And that's it's an important point to make. All sheriffs who are getting elected in November are in for 6 years. This is the first. Yes. This is very unusual. They're normally in for 4, but they're actually changing the cycle so that it falls on, so that it's it's the same as the presidential. So that's why they're doing that. So everybody you vote for sheriff, Barnes in Orange County, although he won, Dicus in San Bernardino, Chad Bianco in Riverside, although he won. And then, of course, Kelly Martinez down in San Diego. They will be in office for 6 years.
Yes, that's pretty amazing. It's I'm pretty excited about that. And then we had a couple of people reach out that I'm impressed with our conversations. One of them is your guest tonight, Luis Cetina.
Yeah, talk about
he
Luis.
Reached out to me. Yeah, and when we did our primary endorsement, we actually endorsed his challenger. Then, things came up. I had several members contact me, several board members. We did some more research. Luis himself contacted me directly. And then I spent more time speaking with them and brought his application to the board. I even set up an interview with him and our board members so that our board members can ask the questions that most concerned them. And he was able to, talk with them, explain to them about how, he's eager to learn. He really does support the Second Amendment. He has a great passion for the area and for the Second Amendment. One of the first things that I did after speaking with them was reach out to Rich Hummel and ask him, hey, is there a way to get him on Gun Owners Radio? Even if we decide not to endorse him come for the November election, can we still get him on? Because his passion was just so incredible.
That's amazing. So, that's cool to run into, isn't it? We know you.
It is.
I know how hard you work, and I know that it's not always a lot of it's just kind of nose to the grindstone, not sexy kind of Second Amendment stuff. It's spreadsheets and emails and phone calls and organizing and right. It's that kind of and when you run into somebody that is as passionate about the Second Amendment, it feels good, doesn't it? Yes,
it does. It does. One of our other candidates on the list, I actually went to high school with.
Oh, wow.
He is, it's West Speak. He is running for the City Council District 5 in Corona. He's currently their mayor. So he is the incumbent. And when I called him, I'm like, Wes, we went to school together, and I know that you are a Second Amendment supporter. Things haven't changed that much since we went to school. And he's like, well, yeah, I'm a Second Amendment supporter. And he looked at our website and he goes, well, how come I'm in the thumbs down? I said, well, because, I said, my predecessor had sent out emails asking our politicians to fill out a questionnaire. I said, if she didn't get it back, then you were putting the thumbs down.
That's right.
Here's why I didn't get it. So I sent it. He filled it out right away. I went in, put him in the thumbs up, and then brought his application to the board to be one of our endorsed candidates.
So that was really good. That section of the website where we have the thumbs up, thumbs down, or undecided for city council members, sheriffs, county. that's exactly what that's for. It's not an endorsement. It's supposed to be a quick reactionary thing. But the idea of giving somebody a thumbs down when they don't respond to us, or they haven't reached out to us, or they won't talk to us, whatever, that's what we want. We want to influence them to go, hey, wait a minute, why am I a thumbs down? I see it time and time again. So that's great. I'm glad. That's very, very cool, and it's good that we got to the bottom of his views on the Second Amendment, and it's great that he's good on the Second Amendment. That's awesome. So when's your monthly meeting coming up?
Our monthly meeting is going to be held on October 27th, Thursday night at 6:30, and it's being held at Papa Joe's Pizza off of Harupa Avenue in Riverside.
Okay, good. So you want everybody to show up?
Yes.
We need everybody
Wes is actually going to be there to speak that night.
Good.
Yeah, and we're going to also have Vincent Tsai, who's running for State Assembly for District 2.
Good.
District 22. So he'll be also there to speak.
And what we need you to do is go to inlandempiregunowners.com and check out the voter guide. We need you to join, become a member for $10 a month or $100 per year, whichever you prefer. And we need you to go talk to Carla at her meeting at the end of the month on the 27th?
Yes, absolutely. I'll be there.
On the 27th. And this is how you change the culture for the better when it comes to the Second Amendment in California. Get involved, help these folks. Now, if you go on the website and you look at the voter guide and you're wondering what to do, well, of course, number one, vote for everyone you can, on the voter guide. Number two, you want to take that voter guide, you want to share it with as many people as you possibly can. Share it on social media, email it, print it out, show it to your friends. And then you want to pick a couple of these folks and send them an email and say, hey, I saw you were endorsed by Inland Empire Gun Owners. Just wanted to say thank you, give them $10. Hey, I donated $10 to your campaign. I wanted to say thanks, or whatever you can afford, $50, $100, whatever you can afford. And that's how you make a difference. Cause a lot of these guys, we like to sit back and it's real easy to sit back and judge and say, gee, they should just be pro Second Amendment unapologetically. And they're trying to navigate through these political waters in California behind enemy lines. And when they get an endorsement by a gun organization, I know they're kind of going, gee, I hope this helps. I hope this helps. I hope that it helps me get elected. I want to do, good for gun owners, but, I want to make sure that this has a positive effect. By you donating, calling, emailing, and letting them know, hey, man, wanted to say thanks, or woman, wanted to say thanks, that helps. It helps. It helps them go, hey, you know what? This was the right decision. I am going to do more for Inland Empire gun owners. I am going to help Carla and all our members out. What's the website? It's Inland Empire Gun Owners, right?
iegunowners.org or iegunowners.com.
That's even easier. iegunowners.org. And check it out. Join, $10 a month, $100 a year. Help Carla out. Go volunteer at her shooting socials or her tabletops. Thank you so much, Carla.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
All right. Well, then in my case, hey, do you have legal matters that involve firearms? Then you need to call California firearms lawyer John Dillon. If you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you just need to know that your guns are California compliant, call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Call 760-642-1715 or just go to their website at dillonlawgp.com.
All right, so we've talked to Heather from Orange County about Orange County gun owners and their voter guide. We've talked to Carla from Inland Empire about Inland Empire's voter guide. And now we're going to talk to Michael Schwartz about San Diego County's voter guide. If you go to SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com or SDCGO.org, you will see our November voter guide. And a lot of these are, there's some, pretty obvious choices. If you go through there, Rob McNellis, and Santee, Ron Hall, both those guys were fantastic. Of course, Rob's a founding board member for San Diego County Gun Owners. He's done a ton in the way of CCW, getting CCWs. He actually wrote op-eds criticizing the previous sheriff for not issuing. Christina Alicio, Laura Lothian, Tony Orlando. We just did a really great job of getting Laura Lothian elected in La Mesa. Now, of course, that was a special election a year ago. We got to get her reelected. and we got to get her some help. Christina Alicio was also on the board of San Diego County Gun Owners, and Tony Orlando took him to the range, vetted him thoroughly, a no-nonsense Second Amendment guy. Help us get those 3 elected. There's a lot of really great candidates. All of them on here are really great candidates. Dane White from Escondido is running for mayor. Joe Garcia, we've endorsed him before. Newcomer Marco Contreras down in Chula Vista is a fantastic candidate. And Melanie Burkholder and Keith Blackburn, both in Carlsbad, are really, really big supporters of San Diego County Gun Owners and the Second Amendment. And then Mike Johnson, SD Must, we had him on not too long ago. He's running in Escondido as well. He's somebody that definitely deserves your vote. In fact, he's looking for volunteers right now. We have a really great, well-rounded list of endorsements. A new guy up in Oceanside, Rick Robinson, who's running alongside of Corey Jensen and Brian Pepin and Poway. Of course, Gary Kendricks, someone we've endorsed before. Bill Wells, someone we've endorsed before. John Franklin out in Vista, who's also running with Armin Curdy. These are really, really solid group of people. All are very fantastic. At the top of the list, of course, we have Amy Reichard, who's been wonderful. Jim Desmond, Jordan Marks, both guys that have been around from the beginning of San Diego County Gun Owners, have done a lot to support us. And then at the very, very top is Kelly Martinez, who's running for sheriff. And I want to talk a little bit about that because, a lot of people have a lot of questions. If you look at this list, so I don't know, 90% of these folks are Republicans. And, even down in the school board section, Pat Batten, Scott Wooden, Andrew Hayes, Dan Summers, all these guys. And during off-election years, gun owners come up to me in droves, and they say, look, we just want people that will support the Second Amendment. I don't care about the party. We want Democrats to support guns just as much as the Republicans. But then when it comes time, and we've endorsed 2 Democrats out of all these Republicans. And man, it makes people I really underestimated how loyal people are to what they perceive the Republican Party to be. Now, the Republican Party is just a political party. They're not there to defend your Second Amendment rights. There's not a single plank in their platform that they will stand by, if they know it means defeat. Okay? What they're about is winning. So that's fine. I'm not criticizing them for it, but you have to understand when you're walking into the polls exactly what it's all about. Now, when it comes to the sheriff, it's not like we have some kind of vendetta against the Republican Party. 90%, 95%, almost, everybody on this list is a Republican. Some of these are, huge Republican leaders in the party.
Well, you're trying to take politics out of the equation and give people opportunities to vote for the right people for the right job.
I want to shift party loyalty to principle loyalty. And when I talk about that, I'm talking about the principle of the Second Amendment.
I understand. But see, you're a 49er fan or you're a Raider fan.
Right.
Okay. 49ers probably, if they can't win, you hate them every day. But if you were to vote, you'd vote for them. And I think a lot of Democrats do it out of loyalty more so than matter of fact. What's the right party to come in the House?
It's gut check time.
Yeah.
When you've been voting for one party, your whole life,
and then you have to vote for
and you have to do something different, and it's gut check time.
It's terrible.
But what I'm here to tell you is nobody knows this sheriff's race more than I do.
Right.
In San Diego County. There's
He's
not
been
one
arrested 12
person.
times, folks. He knows it inside now.
There's not one person in San Diego County. There's not a Republican. There's not a Democrat. There's nobody that knows this race. Nobody has met with both candidates. Nobody's interviewed both candidates as thoroughly as I have. And it just happens to be I'm the guy that advocates for the Second Amendment, right? Well, that's not the only thing I talk to them about. I talk to them about their viability. Mm-hmm. I talk to them about, are they doing the things that it takes to run the race? I talk to them about character. I talk to them about effectiveness. And nobody has uncovered what I've uncovered with the Republican candidate, John Hemmerling. And the guy is an absolute disaster. He's all over the map. He says one thing to one group, and then he says something to another group. The Union Tribune pulled their endorsement of him because he said some anti-trans things. And then he goes back and now he's pro-trans, and who knows where this guy stands on anything, let alone the Second Amendment. When I talked to him and vetted him on Second Amendment issues, it was all a bunch of vague talking points. This guy is not your friend. He is not somebody who believes what you and I believe when it comes to the Second Amendment. Meanwhile, Kelly Martinez has done a fantastic job while she's been in the position of undersheriff, while she's been in the command staff. She's worked her way up. She's been in the sheriff's department for over 30 years. She's got the vote of the rank and file. The Deputy Sheriff's Association said, yep, this is our person. And she's done a fantastic job when it comes to CCWs. Now, I'm not saying this as somebody who's standing off to this, on the sidelines and watching. I'm actually working with the sheriff's department. We've spoken, we've emailed, we've talked a number of times. We've made real suggestions on how they can improve the system when it comes to CCWs, and she has agreed every step of the way. This isn't a casual thing. I'm not a wallflower here. I'm somebody who's actually been involved with Kelly Martinez. Now, a lot of people are worried because Kelly Martinez is endorsed by some of the worst Democrats who are, anti-gun in San Diego, people like Nathan Fletcher and Todd Gloria. And I got to tell you, if that's all you knew about the candidate, then yes, it should give you pause. But to understand why they endorsed, first off, we got Kelly was our pick first. So we got there first. We were working with Kelly for over a year, Kelly Martinez, for over a year on CCW issues and other things. We were vetting her long before they endorsed her. The reason they came in and endorsed her so hard is because the Democratic Party actually endorsed a guy named Dave Myers. Dave Myers is a soup sandwich. He is an absolute disaster. He is so far he's such an extremist. He's so incompetent that these top Democrats said, wait. You guys endorsed who for sheriff? So they stepped in and said, look, we've worked with Kelly Martinez. We've worked with the current command staff. We know they know what they're doing. We got to step in and help. So they endorsed her for her competence. It's not like they were sitting around going, hey, you know what? We got to ban guns. Let's go endorse Kelly Martinez for sheriff. That doesn't make any sense at all. So they endorsed her based on that. And oh, by the way, you know who else endorsed her? Joel Anderson. Joel Anderson endorsed Kelly Martinez. He is Mr. Republican. Now, he actually stepped outside of what the Republican Party, it's written into the rules that you can't endorse, a non-Republican. And he said, you know what? Don't care. She's the person for the job. She's doing a fantastic job. I don't care if I get my hand smacked. I'm going to do it. Nobody accuses Joel Anderson, and by looking at his record and things that he said and things that he's done in public office, no one accuses him of being a soft Republican. This guy is as Republican and is a Second Amendment as they come, period, full stop. Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, Hemmerling, it was endorsed by Dave Myers. Dave Myers is a far left-wing anti-gun. He actually wrote an op-ed saying, look, Democrats, you need to vote for the Republican, John Hemmerling, because the Democrat, Kelly Martinez, is way too pro-Second Amendment. Like, what world are we living in? Yeah. So, and Hemmerling didn't reject that. He didn't say, oh, well, whatever, he can endorse who he wants. He's actually touting it. He's proud of this guy. Dave Myers is a left-wing progressive extremist. I mean, he makes AOC look like Reagan. Wow. I mean, he is such an incompetent, extremist. And Hemmerling isn't rejecting it. He's not even passively just saying, hey, whatever, I appreciate the endorsement. He's actually bragging about it. So you have a choice here. It's not between Democrat and Republican. You have a choice between somebody who's experienced and has supported your gun rights, and you have someone else who has no experience, has nothing on their resume that can support the idea that he can lead a 4,000 person law enforcement agency. And oh, by the way, his previous job, he was a professional gun grabber. That's your choice. It's not between Democrat and Republican. If you look at our voter guide, almost everybody else is a Republican. It's not like we have something against Republicans. We don't have some kind of hidden agenda. We're clearly tend to favor Republicans because they tend to be better on the Second Amendment. But the Republicans messed up this time. They made a mistake. This election in November, you have to vote for Kelly Martinez for sheriff in San Diego County. Go to SanDiegoCountyGunOwners.com. Join $10 a month, $100 per year, whichever you prefer. but help us get the right people.
Well, Luis Cetina is running for San Bernardino County Supervisor. Let's get to know him next.
But first, did you know we have a world-class flight training school here in San Diego? Pilots can fly almost every day. We're close to the ocean, desert, mountains, and the border. That's why San Diego is one of the best places to learn how to fly in the world. Learn to fly in sunny San Diego right at Montgomery Field. You can get started as easy as giving them a call at 858-569-1822 or learn to fly at SDFTI. But you can call them again at 858-569-1822. All right, we got Luis Cetina running for campaigning for the Board of Supervisors. We did reach out to Jesse Armendariz. No reply. Luis, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I didn't expect anything other than that because we had a candidate forum at the Chamber of Commerce. He didn't show there. And during the primary, there was another campaign event where the primary candidates, and he did not show there as well. And it's a pleasure to be with you.
Oh, it's totally our pleasure as well. Mike?
Why do you think he's not showing up?
Well, because I think when you speak to issues and you have to speak to issues without notes, you have to speak with conviction. And when you're speaking from conviction, you're not scripted, right? It comes from the heart because it's embedded in your DNA, so to speak, right? And I'm very proud and honored to have the endorsement of the Inland Empire gun owners, an endorsement that was stripped away from him during the primary because the Second Amendment is critical to upholding the First Amendment. And our campaign is about truth, personal responsibility, and renewed values, and that includes family values. A lot of things that are going on in our society right now is because of the lack of fathers in America, and we have to uphold the dad in America because fathers are critical to the formation of children and society.
So
that's why I think he's not showing up.
What motivated you to run? Tell people a little bit about your background, where you came from, and how you got involved in politics.
Well, I'm a married man, first and foremost, and my wife and I have 6 kids, and I've been very much involved in my church and also very much involved in promoting family values. I've been serving for 9.5 years on our local water board, have some of the best rates, AA+ bond ratings. That doesn't happen overnight. I've served on the Chamber of Commerce. I serve on a transitional homeless shelter for families on a regional level. Why? It's a hands-up philosophy, not a hands-out. And I've coached AYSO soccer for many years, and I'm getting tired of hearing my friends leaving the state. Yeah. And my wife and I, we said, I've got to do something about it. Let's raise our voice and talk about the importance of sound policies, sound fiscal policies, importance of policies written at a county level for families. America's greatest treasure is the family. And it was a time in America where elected officials wrote policy to uphold the family and fiscal conservancy. And so that's just not happening. And that's why I'm doing this, because I care about the future of my kids. Where are they going to live in California? How can they afford a house? All these over-regulations, and it's just far-reaching, and it's enough is enough. And I kid you not, I've been walking precincts with my kids and their friends. San Bernardino County Patriots endorsed this campaign. Redland Tea Party Patriots endorsed this campaign. Pastor Jack Hibbs, former State Senator Mike Morrell, the Mountain View Republican Party out here. A good number of people support this campaign. And there is an undercurrent. There's an undercurrent of people just saying enough is enough. We want to take back our region of our country like Americans are doing throughout our beautiful nation. And so we've got to get involved, regain this, and quit playing Monday morning quarterback. If you're not at the table, you're on the table. And I'm not going to be on the table anymore.
So talk a little bit about what do you think the key to success is when you're campaigning here? What do we have, like 3, maybe 4 weeks left? What's the key to getting people to vote for you?
The key to getting people to vote for me is one, knowing the truth, going to our website first and foremost, www.cetinaforsupervisor.com. And what we're doing is, this is a grassroots campaign. We're knocking on doors every week. And this past weekend, we knocked on 1,000 doors. And it's the community that's coming out. I talk about this and people say, oh, you're boasting. I'm not boasting because it's not about me anymore. It's a collective campaign. It's a community interest campaign. We have received 825 contributions. That's unheard of. We're honored by that. And the real key is speaking the truth, speaking to truth and conviction. And Americans are waking up to it in an array of issues, right? Not just policy issues in California, the overregulations, the abuse of CEQA, energy issues. This is the largest geographical county in America with vast deposits of resources, and we're not utilizing to our full capacity. Corporations should be running the San Bernardino County International Airport, major learning institutions, top-notch hospitals, thoroughfares, and logistics. And they're not coming. Why? Because we're not reliable from a water and power perspective. And so if you don't have those basic elements, you're not going to have mid-sized corporations and storefront. And storefront corporations provide the tax base for police services and fire services, and they enhance the quality of life in communities. And so that's what's really happening here. And San Bernardino County has so much potential, and it's just not being realized.
So why is it important to you that Inland Empire endorsed you for your race, Inland Empire gun owners?
Because it lends truth to my principles. I'm a constitutionalist. Our country is being attacked. It's being attacked, and everything in that document, where other countries in the world have used it as a template, are being attacked. I mean, what can you expect when the leading political party questions the authority of the Supreme Court and allows the media to criticize those judges? That's what it means to me to have that endorsement.
That's
Because
awesome.
That endorsement means that this is a solid man who believes in faith, family, and country. That's it. There's no secret about life. Faith, family, and country, and you're going to live a purpose-oriented life with fulfillment, and fulfillment is joy. And that's it. That's the bottom line, and that's what I want. I'm leading my life that way, and that's what I want for my kids and their friends.
Well, here's the hardest question you're going to get on the campaign trail. You ready for it?
Hit me with it.
All right, here you go. So my co-host here, Action Jackson,
All of, 9 years
he's
old?
9 years old. Yep, he's he shoots regularly, and he has a question for you. Go ahead, Action.
What's your favorite gun?
Good question.
I have a 38 Smith & Wesson.
Oh wow,
Wow,
a
that was-
revolver guy.
Yeah.
A revolver guy. It was my backup. I was going to be LAPD reserve, and it was my backup ankle gun, and I love it.
You got to respect
a
a
cool gun.
candidate who has an ankle gun. I mean, I don't know how many candidates we've endorsed have an ankle gun, my friend.
Needs to be a new question on the questionnaire.
Yeah, we should put that. We've just thought of a new question for our questionnaire. Well, I got to tell you, we're very, very happy. I know they're very proud in Inland Empire to endorse you. I think it's fantastic. Carlos said a lot of great things about you. I'm really, really glad that you're running. It sounds like you have your work cut out for you. What can people do to help you win?
I want to ask folks to do three things for me, sincerely. One, visit my website, www.cetinaforsupervisor.com. Consider contributing. Contributions have been come in from $10 to the maximum. I love it. I love it because it's people. And tell a friend.
That's Cetina,
Tell a friend.
Cetina, right?
Correct, Cetina. If you have any friends that live or family members that live in the cities of Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga, Upland, and San Antonio Heights, call them. Tell them to vote for me, for us. My wife and I are doing this together. Now, Lord knows I wouldn't be able to do this without her consent. And she's been tremendous. And the last thing I want to ask everybody who's listening to us to do, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, pray for us. Pray that we stay focused to this calling and rooted to our service.
All right, Luis Cetina
Awesome.
from this San Bernardino Board of Supervisors, and check out InlandEmpireGunOwners.com.
A lot of people question the San Diego County gun owners endorsement of Kelly Martinez for San Diego County Sheriff, and it's not hard to see why, and it can be confusing, as she's endorsed by Nathan Fletcher and Todd Gloria. But the recent debate between Martinez and Hemmerling just shows why Martinez is the better choice.
But first, hey, a whole lot of companies are frustrated with their website. It looks old, it's out of date, and it's not getting customers. Well, Sage Tree gets it. Since 2005, Sage Tree has been helping companies with websites that look great, work great, and get leads. Stop being frustrated by your website and get one that you're proud to share. Contact Sage Tree today to get a website that makes the phone ring. Getting started is real easy. Call 866-728-9100. That's 866-728-9100. Get your website fixed today. Hey, Action Jackson, don't you have a couple shout-outs?
Oh.
Some of the listeners?
Shout-outs?
Yes.
Who are they?
The shout-outs are G23 and Mike White.
Oh, right.
G23 and Mike White.
Thanks for listening. We sure appreciate it.
Awesome job, man.
All right.
So we were going to talk about the sheriff's debate. We kind of covered that already. It was, it was fairly interesting, though, that John Hemmerling, the Republican, accused or basically criticized Kelly Martinez.
Well, I want to go back to Kelly Martinez.
Well, he said that she was a tool of the gun lobby.
Well, if she's a tool of the gun lobby, why is Nathan Fletcher endorsing her?
Well, it's got nothing to do with guns. He endorsed her because the Democratic Party endorsed Dave Myers.
Really?
And Dave Myers is a loon.
Well, no, I get that.
He's
and also Fletcher doesn't even want him.
That's how bad he is. So it wasn't like they
up.
sat down and said, "I'm going to sit here and go, issue by issue." It's that Dave Myers is so
the package is flawed.
He's extremely flawed. I can't emphasize. I've never seen people so, and he really just in the last 2 years has taken this enormous. I don't even want to call it a left turn. I mean, it's such it's
off the cliff,
an extreme, off the cliff.
There you go. Well,
so they said,
it makes perfectly good sense because I know we've talked to this guy. If Nathan Fletcher doesn't vote for his own party, this guy, then that tells you everything.
Well, okay. So Nathan Fletcher's on the County Board of Supervisors,
right?
And the County Board of Supervisors, they're the ones that provide the funding for the Sheriff's Department,
right?
So that they've had direct contact with
sure.
Kelly Martinez because they're working with the command staff, the sheriff, and of course he was already preparing Kelly Martinez to be the next sheriff,
right?
So that's why he knows her
better,
directly. Anyway, it wasn't just Nathan. It was, Todd Gloria.
Well,
it was
Todd Gloria.
A bunch of elected Democrats who said, wow, our party made an enormous, extreme mistake. We're going to step up and we're just going to endorse.
Have you ever seen that happen before?
I'll be honest with you. I wish the Republicans would do it more. Democrats, I tend not to agree with many of their stances on things, but I got to tell you, they're way better at standing up for things than Republicans could even dream of being.
That's true.
Republicans have no backbone. They have no plan. They're totally reactionary. And Democrats go, hey, you know what? This is what we believe. We're going to stand up for it.
Right. Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Now,
and they're in unity.
Yeah, they're in unity. And the things they believe and stand up for, I don't always agree with. In fact, I rarely agree with.
Right.
I tend to agree with Republicans a little bit. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat, but I tend to agree with Republicans a little more often. But at least they stand up.
I know. Yeah, no.
At least they stand up.
I agree.
So it's but to answer your question, no, it's extremely rare. That's how extremely horrible Dave Myers is. Right. And for Hemmerling to not just, accept it's not like, so Dave Myers came out and endorsed Hemmerling because he's mad. He got beat. He thought he wanted to be the next sheriff. So he endorsed Hemmerling. And it's not like Hemmerling just kind of said, hey, gee, thanks for the endorsement. John Hemmerling is now bragging about Dave Myers endorsing him. And Dave Myers wrote this whole op-ed saying, hey, she spent all this time improving the CCW program. She's horrible. And she's accepting an endorsement from San Diego County gun owners they're involved in a lawsuit that's, against the city because the city stopped the ability for people to home manufacture firearms. There were multiple things in his list of complaints against Kelly Martinez that had to do with the Second Amendment, and Hemmerling he published this op-ed saying, "Hey, look, I got this great endorsement. Vote for me." I mean, it couldn't be more clear. It couldn't be more clear that Kelly Martinez, if you care at all about the Second Amendment, if you care at all about competence,
and if you like the CCWs flowing the way they're flowing,
and if you like CCWs flowing the way they're flowing, Kelly Martinez is clearly the person. And if you don't believe me, if you don't think, if you're saying, well, Mike, I don't believe you that Kelly Martinez is the pro Second Amendment person. All right, well then believe John Hemmerling, because he's also, the one basically saying that she's the pro Second Amendment candidate.
Right.
It's not just me.
It's
John Hemmerling, which is completely asinine.
Totally.
Anyway, we've kind of talked about that a lot. One thing I want to talk about is a couple years ago, California Assembly Bill 173 was passed, and it required the state, the Department of Justice, the California Department of Justice, to share personal identifying information of gun owners in California and ammunition buyers with non-law enforcement, non-government agencies. So that would be like UC Davis. Let's say UC Davis wants to study, how can we stop gun violence?
Right.
And they'd come up with some skewed, horrible, well, we need to take guns away from people, right?
Go figure.
So the state is saying, hey, Department of Justice, all this information that you gather from gun buyers and ammunition buyers, you have to turn that over so that they can study on how to take guns away from people. And
Virtually.
So we are plaintiffs, San Diego County gun owners, we're plaintiffs in it's the Barba versus Bonta case, where we basically said, hey, look, this isn't even, it goes way beyond Second Amendment at this point. This is about privacy. This is about decency, for God's sake. This is about the safety of gun owners. So we actually stood up. The lead plaintiff, Barba, she is actually a San Diego County gun owners member. We're plaintiffs. San Diego County gun owners is a plaintiff. We're working with Firearms Policy Coalition, and this is a major lawsuit that we're a part of, helping to defend the privacy and the rights of gun owners. Well, last week, October 14th, Judge, I don't know how to say her name, Catherine Bacal, B-A-C-A-L, she issued a preliminary injunction, which is awesome. We got the injunction. And she, by the way, doing a little research on her, it's not like she was, she wasn't appointed by, Reagan. She's not, but she gave us the injunction. She gave us the injunction, and it's really, truly, that in and of itself is a huge victory. Now, it doesn't always guarantee that we're going to win, but that's it's a right step in the right direction.
Stop the process.
Stop the process.
That's the key.
Stop the process for now. But, gun owners, I know how frustrating it is. We never seem to get the injunction.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? Boom. We just got it. We just got the injunction. This is huge news. If you're a member of San Diego County gun owners, you're a plaintiff in this case as well. You should be extremely proud. You should be extremely proud of what we're doing here. And it feels good to win. I know how easy it is to be down on,
David versus Goliath.
Yeah. And it always it's like, gosh, when are we going to start winning? Well, now.
Yeah.
That's when we're going to start winning. Now we're winning.
Right.
San Diego County gun owners, we got the injunction
It takes
there.
perseverance, too. It takes how many years you've been doing this?
7 years.
And that's, folks, I'm just telling you, if you deal with legalities and courts at any length of time, it takes about that much time to get it to maybe an area that works. Because if it didn't, you would have gave up. And you don't ever want to give up.
Yep. He's the director of legal operations for Firearms Policy Coalition, was quoted as saying, today's ruling reinforces what FPC has been arguing all along, that you needn't be forced to open your front door to immoral government intrusion in order to exercise your fundamental rights.
I love it.
And FPC, of course, other plaintiffs, Second Amendment Foundation, California Gun Rights Foundation, San Diego County gun owners, Orange County gun owners, and Inland Empire gun owners, all plaintiffs in this case.
Starting to be a force.
Isn't this awesome?
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
Remember, it was just you.
It was never just me.
Yes, it was. You with your shield up, holding up.
Yeah.
I'm going to stop the onslaught.
I remember that.
They're not taking my guns.
I remember that day.
I know. You used to shoot back then.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I used to remember you'd come in every day. Oh, yeah, I shot here. I shot there. I shot this.
I used to actually go to ranges and pull triggers.
I was going to say, when's the last?
Now I just go to ranges.
Don't pull any triggers.
I don't really pull any triggers.
No, you pull their finger, but that's about as far as.
Alicia said she was going to teach me how to shoot. That made me feel good.
Oh, yeah?
Guns are scary.
You think you can teach him something?
It's a big challenge.
I know. That's
try.
what I'm saying, too. Do you like indoor or outdoor?
Well, that depends on what I'm doing. If I'm working on Pistols, I like indoor.
Yeah.
But if shotguns, if I'm
But you see, you're thinking of a specific. I'm just saying shooting in general.
I like indoor.
What about you, Alicia?
To be honest with you.
Depends on the outside weather. Bit of a princess. I like the air conditioning.
Okay.
She's what you'd call indoorsy.
I think so. I think you're absolutely.
You're not a princess. I've seen you sweating and getting dirty.
Maybe.
Who said princesses don't sweat?
Yeah, Princess Leia sweated.
Darn right.
Just a bit.
I guess.
And then that other princess where that prince came over and gave her a kiss. She started sweating. But I digress.
Anyway, be very, very proud.
Yeah.
Join San Diego County gun owners. Join Inland Empire gun owners. Join Orange County gun owners. And join Firearms Policy Coalition. A lot of people ask, hey, how do you guys work with other Second Amendment organizations? And I'll tell you, our relationship with Firearms Policy Coalition is hand in glove. Those guys are absolutely wonderful. We both play different positions on the field, and we play them well.
Absolutely.
And
takes a team to make it happen.
That's right. Takes a village. That's what Hillary Clinton used to say, Dave.
On September 9th, 2022, the Riverside County Sheriff's Department received a public records request from Viacom CBS for the names of all people with concealed weapons permits. Upon receiving the request for public records, the department sought legal advice to determine if there were any valid exemptions the department could use in order to exempt the names of concealed weapon permit holders. As a result of outside legal analysis, it was determined the issue of disclosing concealed weapons holder names was addressed by the California Supreme Court, who ruled that upon request, public agencies must disclose the full names of concealed weapons permit holders. In its ruling, the California Supreme Court addressed two exemptions to disclosure, which otherwise would exempt disclosure. Government Code Section 6254K, records the disclosed of which is exempt or prohibited pursuant to federal or state law, including but not limited to provisions of the Evidence Code relating to privilege. Used in conjunction with the California Constitution Article 1, Section 1, and or Evidence Code 1040, exempting disclosure of private information disclosed of public agencies. Point 2 was Government Code Section 6255, a general exemption where the public interest served by not disclosing the records clearly outweighs the public's interest served by disclosure of the record. In short, the court ruled neither exemption is applicable to the full names of concealed weapon permit holders, and the names must be released. Based on the court precedent and the lack of exemptions to disclosure, the department was forced to disclose the full names of all current concealed carry permit holders. However, no additional identifying information was disclosed. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department does not take the release of concealed carry permit holders lightly, but was mandated to release the names by court precedent and a lack of protections within our current code. If you seek a change in the law, please contact your local California state legislator.
So we could have set that up a little bit better. What happened was in Riverside, we what Alicia was just reading and did a fantastic job was a letter that went out to basically all the CCW holders in Riverside County, and they were asking for all this private information for CCW holders in the county, and Bianco, Sheriff Bianco, tried hard to fight it, but the court compelled him to give them a little bit of information, way too much information, but it was still not as much as they asked for. And basically, he's saying he's disclosing it. He's saying, look, the sheriff's saying, here's what happened. If you're a CCW holder, we had to give your name to Viacom, to CBS, because they requested it. The names of all people with concealed weapons permits. So you didn't get any other personal information. You didn't get their address, but they did get all their names, and that's crazy.
How could a court how could a court do that?
Well, they just did.
To be fair, the court already has too much power in every single government agency. Like, when our founding fathers started the court system and the checks and balances system, it really wasn't working very well in terms of we make a law, but the real person who determines that law actually is the judicial branch. So therefore, in my opinion, the judicial branch already has too much power, in my opinion. So
I don't disagree with that at all. I think you're absolutely right.
But you can't fix
but
that.
This is the sheriff saying, "Hey, look, if we were made to do this from California law. We were forced to do this. if you don't like that, you have to get a hold of your state legislator and complain and say, hey, this isn't right.
Right.
But I don't see any. There's no need. There's no public need. There should be no requirement that Viacom gets any information about gun owners or CCW holders.
I mean, I won't even get an Amazon account. I'm serious. Somebody wants to show me wants me to read a book for kids.
Yeah.
But I got to go to Amazon. I got to give them a credit card. I ain't doing that. I'm not going to do it. So I told them, mail me the book.
Well, we don't have. There's no such thing as privacy anymore.
No, that's what I mean. I'm hanging on to the little thread that I have. You know what I mean? Because you're right. What did I do the other day? I looked up something online.
Yeah.
Now I have 37 commercials or advertisements for that product.
Well, I actually like that part.
You did? But I mean, whether I buy it or not, I don't even have to buy the product, and I'll get inundated for about a month.
Just stand really close to your phone and talk about it.
Yeah.
You get all the ads.
Mike, I do have a question based on this, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Who determines the California Supreme Justices for our state specifically? Is it just like the National Supreme Court where the president gets to elect those fellow people in, or in this case, does our governor decide to let those people into the Supreme Court, or can we actually vote?
Yeah, no, look on your ballot. You know, a lot of people have asked us, hey, you know, who should we vote for judge? And we have gone back and forth. We're legally allowed to endorse, you know, local judges. And we've had some folks on the radio here, you know, who are running for judge. But the best advice we've been given is to not endorse in these races for judges, because if we have a lawsuit that goes in front of them and it's somebody we've endorsed for office, it could taint the case. So we've been instructed, you know, hey, you know what? Don't endorse in these judge races. So we can do other things. We can have them come and talk to our members at meetings, which is another important reason you should you know, attend our meetings, our monthly events. And of course we have them on the radio so we can inform you and let people know. But yeah, absolutely. Big part of big part of your ballot is who you're going to vote for judge. Mm-hmm. So, and this is why, you know, judges have too much power.
But people don't know anything about these judges.
They don't know enough. And the other thing is,
how do you find out?
Well, there's a lot of different places you can go. I don't have a recommendation right here, but there are places that judge judges. But the other problem is, you know, if you've ever been to one of our meetings where we had a judge come talk or a candidate for judge come talk, or if you've listened to our interviews in the past, they can't answer questions. You know, they're running for judge, and if you say to them, like, well, hey, how would you rule in this situation?
Oh, I can't tell you that.
They can't tell you that. So how do we what do we do? How do we base our endorsement?
This was my question.
I know,
I'm
right?
looking at my ballot, and I recognize nobody. You know, I mean, so.
Well, we had I don't know.
Well, I didn't look at that big book that comes from the government, the voter.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Would that have all the judges in it? Because I
believe it does. I believe they have a statement in there.
I just went off of your guide, like I said, and DeMaio's.
Did DeMaio do judges? I think he has some judges on there.
Yeah, he had judges in there.
Yeah, who did he endorse?
Did you?
I don't recall the
Murray,
specifics.
I think.
I don't remember. You're lucky I got the circle filled in. That was tough enough, let me tell you.
But it is a tough. But I'm you know, Sheriff Bianco up in Riverside is really truly one of my favorite elected officials.
Yeah,
and I think he did everything he possibly could. But at the end of the day,
he still had to pull the numbers.
He did, and everybody's got this. Well, gee, he should have stood up and died on a hill and doing whatever. That's not real.
Well,
life.
if it's not okay, so they get rid of him. They bring another sheriff in.
Yeah, it's just,
make the same requests.
It's just not how it works. This idea that, like, well, if you elect a constitutional sheriff and then they won't have to follow the law and blah blah blah, you're living in a dream.
Yeah,
That's not how it works. And
we wish it did, but it doesn't.
He did everything he could. He took it to court and he said, "Hey, I don't like this. I can't fight it." But at the end of the day, you know, he followed the court order.
Right.
He followed California law.
Yeah.
What we have to do is get the right people elected. Because for far too long, the Second Amendment community has been putting too many eggs in the judicial basket, is how I've been phrasing it. Mm-hmm. And we just go, let's just sue.
Yeah.
Well, that takes millions of dollars, and, you know, it's still a crapshoot, and, you know. But
and it's at least a 5-year deal, so be prepared.
The other thing is that's not what That's not the design.
Mm-mm.
You know, this American government system that we have, that's not the design.
And you can appeal.
The design is to be involved in the election of the person who represents you.
Right.
So,
But it just seems
that's
to me
what
like
we're
it
trying to
never ends. It never ends.
Well, it never does end. That's the price. That's the price of freedom.
Yeah.
You know, what does it go? I always get it wrong. I've said it like 100 times on this show.
I know.
But the price of freedom is ever vigilance.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, right? It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
But yeah, you're on top of that one.
So this is something, I don't know what we're going to do with this, to be honest with you.
Well,
but it's something to be aware of. And it's brand new, hot off the press. You heard it here
now
first.
that's Riverside.
That's Riverside, right?
They haven't done it to San Diego yet.
Not that I'm aware of.
And how do we fight it? I guess that's the next question.
Well, we don't know yet. I mean, the way to fight it is to get the right people elected and have them change the law.
It could happen next Thursday.
But if the way this reads, we already went to court.
Mm-hmm.
Judge already ruled on it. Has already determined that this is,
So
this
what is
legal.
Viacom again doing with this information?
We don't know. Maybe that's a way to attack it. Ask Viacom, CBS, what are you doing with this information?
Well, we need to find some either reporters or some politicians to pull them in and say, why are you doing this?
It's a good question.
All right, let's work on that.
I'll do it this afternoon.
I think you should. They've still got daylight. Yeah, it's crazy. Well, and what was that thing that all these people? I should have my information before I throw it out there. It was had
What's
a
that?
weird name, Jones, something Jones, and they got sued for $1 billion.
Jim Jones?
No, it was defamation of character during the Sandy Hook.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. What was that? What is that guy's name?
What is it? Something Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex
yeah.
Jones. Is it what, social media?
InfoWars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now he says he doesn't have enough money.
I don't understand that.
That was insane.
What he said was crazy and vile.
Look what it cost him.
But I don't understand. When you sue somebody, you're suing for monetary damages. I'm having a hard time understanding where those monetary damages. It was like $100 million.
Oh,
something ridiculous.
No, he's
like
up to $1 billion.
It was $1 billion. Oh, it was like 900.
Every client got 30 to 50 million.
I don't understand how they.
It had something. The way the judge, because I listened. I was driving in the car and I happened to hear it, and the way the judge put it, it was character. The fact that they were making stories about the kids that really died that really didn't happen. It was all staged.
Mm-hmm.
So they had about 2 or 3 per, and each one was anywhere between 19 and 60 million.
I don't understand how where that figure comes from. How can they?
That was a jury.
It's horrible and tragic.
Totally.
And he should have. What he said is disgusting.
Yeah, totally.
And insane.
And I don't know what the reason was.
But I don't understand how they can justify that amount of money in damages to the victims.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I don't know how they can say.
It was 8 victims. It was not 1. It was 8.
Well,
was 8.
I don't understand how they can say, this victim is out.
You have
this
more
amount of money.
homework. You have more homework tonight. No more TV for you. Hey, a self-defense event happens in seconds. And in the time it takes to listen to the commercials, your life could change forever. I pray you never are never forced to shoot in self-defense. But if you must, then you must be ready. That's why USCCA exists, because every responsibly armed American should have the training and education to navigate a self-defense situation. And should you ever need, the 24/7 critical response team is right there for you. To discover more about USCCA, that's uscca.com/GOR. And now, because the life you save could be your own, uscca.com/GOR. Hey, Action Jackson.
Oh.
Have him show you that watch will throw a dart out of the center of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will. You haven't seen
know
that? It's pretty cool.
It's a poisonous dart.
Ooh. He's going to take down an elephant. What do you think? I'd take down an elephant.
Are you a member of USCCA?
No, but I think about it every Sunday at about
I am.
10 minutes to 6.
I'm a member of USCCA.
So am I.
Yeah. Alicia, what do you think? You like them?
I do. I do. And one thing, just not that this really applies to a lot of the public at large, but they are coming out with their own version of instructor insurance that rivals the NRA, which is I'm still looking forward. It's released in other states. It's not quite ready to go in California yet, so I'm looking forward to that.
Why do you need insurance?
As an instructor, I do.
Just in case?
I do, yeah.
You shoot one.
It's like liability.
It is. It's a general liability. Yeah.
And you have to be we don't know yet, but you probably have to be a USCCA instructor.
I would. No, you know what? I don't believe so.
Wow.
Because I've spoken with the representative we have here locally. I have not asked that specifically, but I know he did mention that there's
Adam, is that Adam?
Adam, it is Adam.
Handsome Adam.
Handsome Adam.
We got to get Adam on the show.
We can. I think
talk to that dude about USCCA.
So
have him in the studio though, just so I can stare at his dreamy eyes. Dave.
Okay. I see. So, Action Jackson, do you belong to USCCA?
I went too far.
Yes, you did.
No.
Not yet?
I wish.
Still too short?
No.
Is that a height requirement?
Does it matter?
You got to be tall, right?
Does it matter how tall I am? Because if I'm tall enough.
How tall are you?
How tall are you? As he looks at his dad. Tall enough.
4.2.
4.2.
You're 4'2".
Eyes of blue. Hoochie, hoochie.
4'2".
There's a song. Google it. You'll see it. It's all cool.
Don't Google it. Don't do it.
Oh, I will.
Oh, I know you will, bud. We're on top of it. Hey, guess who's on today?
Can I say this on the air?
What?
So Action Jackson, our very own, scored a perfect score for his third grade assessment. Only he and one other student who was in the sixth grade got a perfect score in the whole school.
I believe it.
Congratulations, bud.
Man, right on.
Fist bump.
Thank you.
Breaking news.
Was it easy?
It was a bit challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too much for you.
You think Michael could have passed it?
Mm,
Probably not.
Maybe.
I'd give it a maybe.
Were you good at
I
tests?
passed.
Did you like tests?
I loved tests.
Did you really?
I liked multiple choice.
What about the math?
And I didn't like math. Well, if it was multiple choice. And I liked tests where they're like, look, write an essay. I'm like, well, all right, I can make anything up,
Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Do you know the Choose Your Own Adventure books, right?
Do I ever? Yes.
Do you like those books?
I loved Choose My Own Adventure. I had an Indiana Jones Choose My Own Adventure when I was a kid. I loved it. Yeah. How about you?
I have the first 3.
Wow. My whole life is a Choose My Own Adventure book.
Well, that's true too. So do you read a lot? You read a lot?
Yeah, you could say.
Probably.
Every day don't pay attention.
Be a little less of a Choose My Own Adventure.
What a story that would be, right? All right, should we bring on?
Okay, yes. What are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we on the air? Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're on the air.
every week we have we have somebody write in and give us some gun trivia.
Look what you're
and
doing to the kid.
If we use your question on the air, we give you a hat or a shirt. And if you stump my nephew, you get something special. I don't know what the special prize is. It'll probably be, I don't know, maybe tickets to Gun Prom up in Inland Empire. Maybe it'll be a special sushi lunch with Action Jackson and I. That'd be cool.
Skybox at a Padre game?
Probably not that. Okay, so let's bring Sam on. Sam, how you doing?
I was trying to help Walt out.
All right, how are you guys?
Good, man. Do you like Choose Your Own Adventure books?
I do.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, so we have a question for you, Action Jackson. Without further ado, fire away.
All right. Which hand did Gaston Glock use to test his guns?
Oh, good question.
Which hand did Gaston Glock use to test his gun?
This is from who sent this in?
Oh yeah, Mike from Alpine.
Mike from Alpine writes. Which
Mike
hand?
from Alpine. Thanks for writing in. This sounds like a really obscure question, but it's actually a little bit easier than it looks. And I happen to know that Gaston Glock used his left hand when testing the pistols because if it blew up and maimed him, he would still have his dominant hand.
That's exactly right. Gaston Glock, the founder of the very famous Glock Firearms Company, famously used to test his new firearms design, or famously tested his own firearms himself. So the new designs, he would test them himself. He used his left hand to fire his prototypes in case they exploded, so he could still use his right hand to write and do whatever because he was right-handed.
Correct!
Awesome job. Do you remember how you know that? I always ask you
I
this.
don't, but it's a really fun piece of trivia. So if you're a fan of Glock pistols at all, or if you know someone who is, that's a great one to bust out at a party or something. I don't know.
Still alive, 93 years old, Gaston Glock, still going strong. Unbelievable. I was actually reading a little bit about him. It's interesting how he invented the Glock. He wasn't a gun guy.
Right, yeah. He kind of fell into it. He made his fortune in plastics injection molding. Glock really made their name in like golf club handles, lawn chairs, and stuff like that. Their only products for the military before their pistols were like entrenching tools. That was their first military contract.
And my understanding is the actual material that they use on their models is still a trade secret. They don't tell people the recipe for their
polymer.
Plastics. The plastics industry is very. There are a lot of secrets there, a lot of trade secrets, because if you can figure out the exact plastic blend a company uses, then like you can kind of destroy their market share, because these materials have to have a very specific set of physical properties.
And it's not just their plastics too. They have like some kind of hardcore, tough as diamond coating for their slides.
Yeah, the coating is a little bit less sort of crazy and out there. Well, neither are really. As far as anyone can tell, the plastic material they use is pretty similar to DuPont Zytel, but we don't know the exact fiber fill. It's probably somewhere between 30 and 50%, but I'm not a materials scientist, so I don't know for sure. The slide coating is basically, everyone has their own name for it, but now they're using basically a gas nitride diamond-like carbon coating.
Nice. Excellent. I forget. Are you a Glock owner?
I am a Glock owner.
What's your Glock? What is yours? 40. What is yours?
I have the 43X, which I don't think you guys can get in California.
Thanks for rubbing that in. Thank you for rubbing that in. Well, not yet. If we win the Rena case, we'll be able to have it. The 43X is a what?
It's a single stack 9, 3.4-inch barrel, 10-round capacity.
But isn't it? It's got the slide of a. It's like similar. The slide's similar to a 19, and the frame similar to a 17. Is that, or am I totally way off here?
Like
Alicia's
it has the slide of a 43, but the frame is taller and a little bit thicker, so it's like the height of a 19.
I got you. That's where I was. I know it's a single stack. All right. How many does it hold? A single stack?
10-round standard capacity, so it would be great for your state if your state government would decide not to have such arbitrary restrictions on what guns you can and can't have, while allowing police officers to flout that.
Well, hopefully we'll get rid of the 10-round magazine capacity thing too. All that's ways.
Is the list on the? Is there an opportunity we can change our list or not have a list?
Well, the Rena case, the lawsuit. Hopefully, we're going to win that soon,
and that will eliminate having a
essentially. Yeah, I mean, here's what it'll do. It'll most likely get rid of the impossible part. So there's part of that you probably still have a list, but right now you can't get on the list because there's no such thing as microstamping. So it'll probably eliminate the microstamp.
Oh, I see. And then we'll have to just keep fighting for the list.
Well, they'll just the list will just kind of turn into a fee, but at least people will be able to.
Oh, so if you want to get like the gun.
Yeah, so
Sam's talking about, you just have to pay an extra fee for it.
They'll have to pay a fee to California to get on the list. I'm sure that's.
See, there's always a catch somewhere.
There's always a catch.
Well, it is, but
somebody's got to make money.
That's right. Well, guess how many people so this Sam, the test, the laboratory for the safe handgun roster is actually one of them. There's two of them. One of them's in Maryland, up kind of close to you guys. Guess how many pistols have been submitted to the laboratory for testing and have failed?
I'm going to guess probably 0 or somewhere in the single digits.
Yeah, 0.0. That's how many. I mean, it's a total scam. It's just a money grab. So, but hopefully we'll get rid of it. Thanks,
right,
Sam. Awesome job, bud.
Thanks for having me on. Good night, everyone.
All right, buddy. Hey, subscribe to our show. Give us a 5-star review. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. And please support our great sponsors, San Diego County Gun Owners, Orange County Gun Owners, Inland Empire Gun Owners, Dillon Law Group, DRMI Mortgage, Sage Street, San Diego Flight Training International, U.S. Concealed Carry, and a big shout-out to Alicia Curtin, Michael Schwartz, Sam the Gunman, Action Jackson, and the only way we can stay on air, Brendan Thomas. All right, folks, don't forget, join San Diego County Gun Owners and take a run up to the Inland Empire Gun Prom. It'll be a ton of fun, and we're on every podcast. Tell your friends, and we look forward to chatting with you next week.